people who listen to this podcast have a very similar mindset like you and me. We are very driven people. Type A, go, and achieve at our own expense. The intent is never to like achieve at other people's expense, but I think we both are willing to sacrifice our own personal health to achieve and then help other people along the way. And it's like, well, Nick and Lucy, you can take care of yourself later. Because what I have found through this whole journey, and I'm in a similar situation right now where like I'm trying to be very intentional with what I pursue and also recognizing the collateral damage that comes along with what I pursue. Because I can push really hard and I can bury myself into the ground, and I can do that for a long time. And I'm okay, or I should say, I used to be okay with it affecting me. Mm-hmm. But then when I realized it was affecting other people in my life, like people who I work with, my family, my kids, that was an eye-opener for me of, okay, like what am I trying to accomplish and why? Am I trying to accomplish more just to do more? Or am I trying to accomplish something that has really meaningful impact but doesn't create this collateral damage around me? So let's hang out here for a little bit. What does a better mental health environment look like for you compared to where it is right now? And why you've decided to pull back from some of these races? Because you had a very aggressive race schedule going into 2025.
Do you know what? It's still pretty aggressive. And I've already competed 4 times this year when we're in February. And I'm aware of that. And I think this is important for me to say, I enjoy competing. I enjoy that environment. It makes me happy. I thrive off it. I like training for something. Like that is really important to me, and I will always have that. And I do have a lot of goals coming up still this year. There's just the one thing that I struggle with, and I always have, is I have become this like person who has quite a hard exterior in terms of, oh, she does really cool things. She does hard things. Oh, she's got a business. Oh, she's great. Like I've identified with that and I've attached onto that. And that's also other people essentially validating that as well. Like we work so heavily on social media. There's a lot of people, not that I need the validation, but they give it to me. They give me that validation. So I'm like, oh, I am this person, which I know I am deep into my core. But what's happened, I think, over the past couple of months where I've been through a real significant life change, I've maintained that identity of you're really hardcore. You can't be sad. You can't be vulnerable. You can't cry. You can't care about your emotions because you're this person. And that's what I did a lot last year. Even I think back to our podcast, I was probably in that mindset of like, I'm great at it. Like I almost like was masking it. I was competing back to back. I was traveling, working so much. Like I look back and I almost make myself feel stressed about how much I was doing. And for me right now, with my headspace and where I'm at, is knowing that I am enough as a person for Lucy Davis. And it's almost questions that I ask myself of, like, am I enough just as Lucy? Am I enough as a daughter? Am I enough as a friend? Am I enough without all my achievements? Will people look at me the same? If I'm not doing things all the time, if I'm not competing, if I'm not competing to a high level, so it's not just competing. When I compete, I want to break world records. I want to go a sub-3 marathon. I want to do these things. But if I'm not doing them, are people going to think less of me? Are they expecting me to do this? Of course they are. So that's why I put Berlin down, because so many people are like, when's your sub-3 marathon? I was like, oh, I'll book it. So I signed up to Berlin, not for me. Not at all for me. I will do sub-3. I might even do 250 one day. I don't need to do Berlin. It would be straight into a marathon prep after Chicago, after High Rocks Worlds. because I didn't want to give myself a break to work my mental health. I was like, if I just keep training in a block for something, if I just keep working, if I fill my calendar so much, I don't have to deal with all these things of my real deep emotions. And they're quite sad questions that I ask myself, like, oh, am I enough without doing hard things? Am I enough without these competitions? Will people still think the same? People who love me and care for me, I actually don't think care about anything that I'm doing to that degree. Only I really care about those goals and those races because they're mine and they're special to me and they're important to me. I wouldn't expect other people to understand them. And I know that I have almost hit a wall, or I'm hitting the wall, or I hit it and now I'm climbing back over the other side of, okay, you've not looked after your mindset in terms of dealing with emotions. You've not dealt with trauma. I've not dealt with things that I know I need to physically be able to perform, to presently be there for my friends and family, to be the best person that I can be. Like, one of my favorite things about myself is I'm a really kind person. Like, I put other people first and I love that about myself. That's what strong mental health will look like to me, is believing and knowing deep internally, Lucy, people don't love you for what you're doing in these things. They love you for who you are as a person. So I think it's what good mental health will look like for me is me feeling that. It's all good of me while saying it. I don't feel that yet. I don't feel that. I've not even spoken about this before, so it's really, I feel almost like awkward speaking about it. But I think that's what it'll look like for me, is knowing that I am enough.
I think this is great stuff to share.
It's so scary though. I feel it makes me just feel
uncomfortable. It makes you real.
Yeah.